Looking to get your hands on a brand new Panasonic TV, but feeling a little bit overwhelmed by the choice? Well, here is everything that you need to know to pick the perfect model for you. Hey guys, Louis here from Smart Home Sounds, and that's right, TV season is definitely in full flow, and today we're breaking down the Panasonic lineup to help you decide which model might be right for you. Now, if you've been keeping tabs on all things tech, then you might have seen Panasonic's flagship Z95A picked up the best in class when it was announced at CES earlier this year. And while that next generation MLA OLED leads the line for the brand, the lineup is still full of great options which offer different pros and cons at different price points, and we were actually lucky enough to go to Panasonic HQ to take a closer look. So strap yourselves in because there is plenty to get through in this one. As always guys, while we now do sell Panasonic TVs and tons of other brands too, this video isn't just about selling you the most expensive model on the shelf. Choosing the perfect TV can be an absolute nightmare, and this guide is here to break down all of that technical jargon and help you guys make the best, most informed decision based on your space, budget, and most importantly, your use cases. Now, a little heads up, this video is going to be a long one. So if you've got a specific Panasonic model in mind, then please feel free to skip ahead using the chapters below. Now, these videos are a little bit of a beast to make, and while we absolutely love being able to help you guys out, the truth is that the more of you that subscribe, the more we can deliver. Now, we want to keep offering the very best content we can on some of the world's biggest brands. So if you find this video helps, then giving us a sub would be awesome. Now, when it comes to TVs, the big brands are always battling it out for the next best thing. So new models, fancy panels, all the latest tech. And this year, Panasonic has decided to simplify things a bit for us. So they've still got all the cool new tech, which I'll get into in a second, but they've also simplified their naming system and have a more consistent operating system throughout. There's still a few models from last year hanging around just to keep things interesting, but overall, things are definitely more streamlined. So these here are the main models in the lineup, and they can be split up like this. So we've got our entry-level LEDs, full array LEDs, mini LEDs, OLEDs, and then MLA OLED models that all progressively improve as you go up the range. Now, we will flash up all of the RRPs of all of these models as we go through the video, but just bear in mind that depending on when you're watching this, prices may have changed. So I'll link all of the models down below so you can take a look at their latest pricing. Now, previously, Panasonic have felt a bit behind some of the other TV brands when it comes to smart software, but this has been improved this year, and the majority of these new TVs will all now be powered by Amazon's Fire TV OS. Now, there are still a couple of models that break that rule, but for the most part, we've got one OS across the entire range. Panasonic has also introduced a new and improved version of their HCX Pro AI processor, aptly called the HCX Pro AI Processor Mark II. Now, this isn't in every model, but does feature in a good portion of the lineup. Now, before we dive into the nitty-gritty of the specs of particular models and all that sort of thing, let's get our heads around the TV names, which is by far my least favorite part about TVs, hands down. But as Panasonic have simplified their naming structure a little bit, it's easier to break down and can help you understand the models a little bit better. So first of all, let's take this one for example. TV-55Z95AEB. We can remove the TV at the start and EB at the end, as that's more info for retailers. So the 55 here refers to the screen size in inches, so 55 inches in this example. And don't forget, that's measured diagonally from corner to corner of the TV screen. The Z signifies that this is one of Panasonic's OLED models. W would be LED. The 95 signifies how high up in the range this model is, so 90 would be a model below, for example, and the A is the year the model is from, so A is 2024. Now, you might be able to see similar models online with slightly different numbers and letters at the end, and these are usually exclusive to specific regions, stores, or minor variations like remote control types, colors, and stands. Oh, and before I forget, annoyingly, because the MZ800 is carrying over from last year, that follows Panasonic's previous naming structure, which is slightly different. Hopefully that all made sense, and I do think that the new naming structure should definitely help. Right then, onto the actual lineup, and starting with the LEDs. The first TV we've got this year is the W60A. Now, I'm not going to go very in depth here because I think you guys will be spending most of your time probably looking slightly further up the range, but this is essentially a pretty standard smart TV, replacing last year's MX600. You can get it in a range of sizes from 43 up to 65 inch. It's got a pretty basic 60Hz 4K HDR bright panel and the entry-level 4K HDR bright processor, but it does offer support for Dolby Atmos audio and a range of HDR formats, which is a nice plus. Now, probably the biggest new feature on this one is the new Freely guide. It replaces Freeview Play and it's on all of Panasonic's 4K TVs from here on up. Oh, and it's also got a TiVo operating system rather than the Fire TV found in models higher up in the range. Now looks-wise, again, it's a pretty basic TV, but it will be good for secondary spaces in the home. It's obviously an entry-level TV, so it won't offer top picture quality, but it does come with an entry-level price tag. Next up, we've got the W80A, which is what Panasonic call their core LED model. This marks a decent step up as it's the first TV in their 2024 lineup to feature Fire TV as standard. Now with this integration, you're going to get some added benefits like Alexa support, multiple user profiles, and Apple AirPlay and Google Home compatibility. Built to replace last year's MX800, this TV boasts a sleek pedestal stand rather than the feet from that model, and this one also benefits from an upgrade to the HCX processor, which isn't the best in the range, but it's definitely a decent upgrade that features Panasonic's Hollywood Cinema Experience chip for a more natural picture across the board. Again, while this is still a pretty standard 4K LED model, this TV supports HDR10+ and Dolby Vision. Panasonic's HDR Bright Panel Plus technology promises a 30% brightness boost over the W60A according to Panasonic, and a QD layer further enhances colour volume for a more vibrant picture overall. Now if we're talking gaming, this is also a pretty decent option for those looking to keep the cost down. Now no, it's not the best out there. It's capped at a 60Hz refresh rate and there's no full 2.1 HDMI support, but you will benefit from 3 HDMI 2.0 ports with a couple of extra features like a dedicated game mode, ALLM and VRR, so it's a pretty good mid-range gaming option. Audio-wise, this TV uses Panasonic's standard surround sound. Now you might be able to find a W83A version of this TV in certain regions, and this essentially steps up the sound processing to Panasonic Surround Sound Pro with a built-in subwoofer. Right then, time to step out of entry-level LCDs and into that higher performance bracket with the W90A. Now this is one of Panasonic's premium 4K LED TVs, and it's a totally new addition to the lineup rather than a replacement. This TV is Panasonic's only full array model in the lineup, which for those of you guys that aren't aware is a step up in panel tech, as the whole panel is backlit rather than edge-lit. Now this technology also uses something called local dimming supreme, which is basically a more precise way to dim certain areas of the screen. So you can expect darker, deeper and richer images with more accurate shadows that feel a little bit more lifelike and realistic. Now it's a big upgrade on the tech that we've covered in the previous models, and definitely a step in the right direction if you're looking for some improved visuals. Now as well as the upgraded panel tech, this TV is also where Panasonic's flagship HCX Pro AI processor Mark II comes in, which yes, is the same chipset found in the high-end OLED models in this lineup and really helps improve performance considerably. It offers more accurate colors, contrast and clarity that's especially good for fast-moving content like sports and games. Key with this new processor is the revamped 4K remaster engine, which combines AI and mathematical models to deliver crisp, more natural-looking streaming picture quality. The new flagship processor also claims to improve color gradation to remove the appearance of banding in HDR footage. Now there's support for multiple HDR formats like HLG, HDR10, HDR10+ adaptive, and the new Dolby Vision IQ. In terms of sound, this one is pretty similar to the W80A with Dolby Atmos support, but gamers will appreciate the upgraded gaming features that includes 2 HDMI 2.1 ports with up to 144Hz support, VRR, ALLM and AMD FreeSync certification. Now there's also the introduction of Panasonic's enhanced game mode Extreme, which offers a customizable game control board so you can fine-tune your settings for optimal performance. Again, we've got Amazon's Fire TV OS with this one, but this one adds the ambient experience, replacing Panasonic's previous My Home Screen interface. It's got a split leg stand rather than a pedestal, and it's also available in the same 4 sizes as the W80A, ranging from 43-inch up to 65-inch. All in all, this is a very solid choice in the lineup, and if you're after enhanced picture quality without spending a lot of money, then this one is definitely worth considering. Next up is the W95A, the top of the range LCD TV for the year. Replacing the MX950, it's the sole mini LED model in the lineup, and this technology takes the full array concept of the W90A a step further by using thousands of mini LEDs to illuminate the screen. This means that this TV has even finer control over the backlight than the previous model, dramatically improving brightness, contrast, black levels, highlights, and its defense against haloing, pushing the picture quality much closer to something like OLED. Now we also step up to local dimming ultra with this one too, which again just helps to give that backlight even more precise control over what you're seeing on screen. Now in terms of all of the other specifications, this one isn't all that different from the W90A. It's still powered by the same flagship processor with all the HDR support. We've got the Fire OS, and we've still got the same full suite of gaming features with up to 144Hz support. The big difference is, other than the panel tech of course, is that number one, it's only available in 55 and 65-inch screen sizes, and number two, it also has what Panasonic calls dynamic theatre surround sound built in, which uses an additional subwoofer to drive extra bass and improve the overall audio performance. Now for me, if you're in the market for a 55 or 65-inch TV from Panasonic, I see this one as a little bit of a dark horse in the lineup this year, especially if you're not all in on OLED. Mini LED as a whole is a fast-growing TV technology, and while the W95A might not yet be at the level of some of Panasonic's higher-end OLEDs, this model clearly demonstrates the technology's potential and, in particular, would be a good option if you've got a light, bright space. When it comes to Panasonic's OLED options, they've expanded the lineup. So compared to last year's 4 models, we now have 6 to choose from. We've got the entry-level Z80A, Z85A, Z90A, Z93A, and the flagship MLA OLED Z95A, as well as the returning MZ800 too. Like a lot of brands, Panasonic has backed OLED for a while now. Unlike LED TVs, OLEDs don't require a backlight. Instead, each pixel is its own light source, which is important because it means that we have far more control over picture quality with deeper blacks, better contrast, and more vibrant colours. OLEDs have traditionally faced challenges in reaching the same peak brightness levels as LED TVs, but recent innovations like the introduction of QD OLED and MLA technology have significantly improved their performance in this area, hence why Panasonic have introduced MLA tech in the Z95A. So the first OLED that we've got to look at is the MZ800. This is a continuing OLED from 2023, and Panasonic is positioning it as one of their smaller screen options in their lineup, being only one of 2 models that go as low as 42 inches in screen size. Now we've already done a deep dive into last year's model, so I won't spend ages on this one, and you can check that video out below, but here's what you need to know. As Panasonic's most affordable OLED and a carry-on model, naturally there's some sacrifice to be made compared to the better models in the range. Namely, you've got a standard OLED panel and the 4K Color Engine Pro processor instead of the beefier HCX Pro AI Mark II. It also misses out on Filmmaker and True Game Mode, sticking with Panasonic's regular game mode with HDMI 2.1 and ALLM. Sound-wise, it's got Panasonic's surround sound with Dolby Atmos, but there is a built-in subwoofer with this one. Design-wise, it features a minimalist frameless design, and before I forget, this one also runs on Android TV instead of Fire OS. So the first new OLED this year is the Z80A, and this one is only available in 55 or 65 inches. Now there is also a 48-inch model available outside of the UK, but we won't be covering that one today. Now being the entry-level model, there have been some compromises that have been made with this one to keep the costs down. Now we're looking at a standard OLED panel here, so not the fancy stuff we'll see higher up in the range, and the processor is a step down from the top-tier models, being the standard HCX version. In terms of HDR, this TV does handle Dolby Vision, HLG, and HDR10 Plus adaptive, and this is also coupled with audio enhanced by Panasonic Surround Sound Pro along with Dolby Atmos. Gaming-wise, these sets still retain Panasonic's latest game features with Game Mode Extreme, 2 HDMI 2.1 ports, VRR, NVIDIA G-Sync, and AMD FreeSync Premium. The only thing to keep in mind is that this one is limited to a 120Hz refresh rate, not the 144Hz of some of the other models mentioned in this video. Now, unlike last year's MZ800 OLED, with Android OS, this year's Z80A runs Fire TV like the majority of the lineup, and it also comes with an elegant borderless design that can be either wall-mounted or freestanding with the included pedestal stand. Now no, this isn't the top of the range option for those who want the absolute best of the best, but if you're after a pretty competent OLED TV that doesn't break the bank, then it's definitely worth considering. Next up is the Panasonic Z85A. Available in the same 55 and 65 inch sizes, the Z85A sits comfortably between the Z80A and the more premium Z90A. While sharing the same OLED panel and offering similar brightness and contrast levels as the previous model in the lineup, the Z85A benefits from the upgraded HCX Pro AI processor Mark II, meaning that you're going to get better color accuracy and improved picture processing with this one. Now it also takes a step forward in audio with Theatre Surround Sound Pro supported by Dolby Atmos with a subwoofer built in, so you can expect slightly more immersive audio with this one too. The Z85A still delivers all the same impressive gaming capabilities as the previous model, but it's still capped at 120 Hz like the previous model too, which is a little bit of a shame. Now overall, the Z85A is a pretty balanced package and a good choice for those looking for a high quality OLED TV without the premium price tag of the top tier model. It's a step up from the majority of the LEDs that we've been through earlier, but if you're looking to see what OLED can really do, I recommend stepping up in the range. The next TV to take a look at is the Z90A, which along with being available in a wider range of sizes from 42 inches to 65 inches, it represents a big step up in both picture quality and sound quality versus the Z85A. While both models share the same flagship HDX Pro AI Mark II processor and OLED screen, the 55 and 65 inch Z90A features a more refined OLED panel, dubbed Master OLED Pro. The 42 inch and 48 inch versions have regular OLED. This upgraded panel incorporates the heatsink brightness booster from Panasonic's top tier OLEDs, which, as you might have guessed, considerably enhances brightness and overall picture quality. In terms of sound, the Z90A gets a big step up with Panasonic's Dynamic Theatre Surround Pro system. This setup includes front-firing speakers integrated into the bottom of the screen, almost like a built-in 2.1 channel soundbar that's available on all 4 screen sizes. Now this isn't new technology for Panasonic. They've been pushing TVs with built-in soundbars for a while, but it's a sign of intent that they're going all in on it. The Z90A also joins the Z80A in offering all of the advanced gaming features, including 2 out of 4 HDMI ports with 4 2.1 support, VRR, ALLM, and Panasonic's game control board. Plus, this one also steps up to a 144 Hz refresh rate for ultra low input lag, which is another nice plus too. So, who do I think this one's right for? Well, for me, I see this one tempting the same sort of people who would be interested in the LG C4, for example, sitting just below the flagship model in the range. Now, the built-in soundbar is a bonus, saving you money and space, and gamers will also appreciate the advanced feature set. Now, while it might not be the absolute pinnacle of the range, it's a very solid OLED TV to consider. Finally, and congratulations for making it this far, let me introduce you all to Panasonic's flagship TVs, the 77-inch Z93A and the MLA OLED Z95A, which is available in either a 55-inch screen size or a 65-inch screen size. Now you're probably wondering why I've bunched these two together. Well, essentially, the Z93A is just a spec-down version of the Z95A, and its sole purpose is to fill a much-needed gap in Panasonic's lineup as a large-screen OLED option. Now, while it shares the same sound and gaming capabilities with the top-tier Z95A, which we will discuss shortly, the main thing that you need to know about this model is that it doesn't feature MLA technology and therefore misses out on all of the benefits that come with that. Instead, this one uses the Master OLED Pro Cinema panel, which is basically the same as the Z90A, just bigger. So you can expect pretty similar picture performance and brightness to that one. Now, like I said, this is Panasonic's answer to large screen OLED. So if you're looking for an OLED larger than 65 inch, then this is your only option in the Panasonic lineup. So what's the Z95A got to offer then? Well, as Panasonic's flagship OLED TV, it boasts a significantly brighter picture than any other OLED that we've seen in the lineup so far, thanks to its cutting-edge Master OLED Ultimate panel with second generation micro lens array or MLA technology. Essentially, this second gen MLA panel is basically a coating of 27 billion tiny lenses to redirect all available light from inside the panel towards the user, resulting in a dramatically brighter image that doesn't increase the TV's energy consumption. Now, Panasonic claims that the Z95A delivers the most accurate and natural colours of any TV, while still maintaining truly accurate colours. And while we might have a little bit more testing to do until we can confirm that, the fact of the matter is that the Z95A has the best panel Panasonic currently offers. It's a stunning display, but it does come with a premium price tag to match. Along with all of the visuals, this one is once again boasting the Fire OS, as well as all of the best gaming features that we've seen throughout all of the models too, including that 144 Hz support. It's worth noting that there's still no step up to 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, which I would have liked to have seen at this price point. Now, in terms of sound quality, we've still got a built-in soundbar with this model, but we do step up to what Panasonic calls 360-degree Soundscape Pro with Dolby Atmos, which essentially allows users to make the most of this TV's 7.1 channel array speaker system. So alongside the front-firing speakers, it uses side and up-firing speakers mounted to the rear with a unique beam-forming function to deliver the best sound performance that you're going to get from a Panasonic TV. It's actually been tuned by the team over at Technics too, which is pretty cool. Design-wise, the Z95A's blueprint is still very similar to last year's MZ200. It has a slim black bezel with a slightly chunky back panel. The Z95A does have a circular swivelable pedestal stand, whereas the Z93A has a square version that doesn't swivel. All in all though, a great flagship option which is there for those after the best of the best. So there we have it. Plenty of different options, loads of tech to choose from, and no doubt some decisions to think about. Now, like I said earlier, we've got a lot more TV content coming your way this year, but make sure you let us know in the comments what you'd like to see next, and if you'd like any dedicated reviews or specific TV comparisons. Hopefully we've helped you all decide on your next TV, and if we have, then make sure you let us know which one you're going to go for. Now, if you want more personal recommendations, then don't forget you could head over to our website at smarthomesounds.co.uk and talk to one of our tech guides who'd be more than happy to help. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll catch all of you in the next video.